Hi everybody, this is Ginger's Chat Show. This is Ginger, and it's Monday, September 18th, 20, 20, trying to get my voice to work, 2023. Um, hey Nancy, I don't know why this is doing this. Hold on. Thank you, Nancy. Okay, now get back to dashboard. It will pop up. Okay, for some reason your comments are not popping up. I know I did answering viewer. I don't know what's going on here. It says that you're on, but I don't know. I'm not very happy with Facebook right now with their setup. They should let you customize it more than anything. But that's just me. Um, anyway, I hope all is well. There it comes up. I don't know why it lags like that. Hi Nancy. Are you getting any rain over there? Cause all the storms and everything. Uh, by the way, Canada and northern Maine, especially up near Bangor, they got a lot of rain and everything from the northeaster, from basically from Hurricane Lee. It made landfall near the border of Canada and Nova Scotia, or Nova Scotia and Maine, and it was pretty wet up there. I don't know if anybody's been badly hurt or killed or anything because when the storm came, so um, no storms until Saturday. Well, I know that what's the other new hurricane that's now forming in the Atlantic? I have to look up his name. Um, that thing's brewing right now, so they don't know what kind of path that will take. Um, but remnants of Lee has caused some clashing of weather that's coming in from the west, going east, and the storms are coming in from the east going west, and you know how that goes. They kind of clash together, and so it's been causing some problems. Now, over on Saturday, Texas received, southern Texas, like in San Antonio, that near the area of Texas, southern Texas, got hit by um, icy rain. And so they said it really cooled things down really fast, which is kind of nice, but the same token, it's kind of cold. It was almost like a shock, okay? You're so used to being hot and humid, and all of a sudden this hits, and it's like, wow, you have to adjust all over again, okay? Um, so at least some areas are getting rain, which they do need. I wish we'd get more rain up here. It's been cloudy up here, and it's not too bad. It's 66 degrees. You can see I'm wearing my sweatshirt. It's a little bit cold. It keeps bouncing back and forth. Let's see, 66 degrees, and we're supposed to get gusty winds this afternoon. Um, so we're keeping an eye on that. Normally here, um, yeah, I noticed that, Nancy. I noticed that. Dusty got hit with a restriction again over the same one that was like a month ago. And I go, this has to stop. Um, So I'm like, Facebook, when somebody says something that's the truth, it's the truth. And they need to stop. They need to stop being overzealous about it. They really do. Okay. Because when they're doing that to people like Dusty, our friends, and I have not had any problems so far because I did some changes in my settings. And Facebook had better be careful because if they keep restricting people for posting that's really very harmless, uh, they're violating that person's First Amendment free speech rights. Okay? When they keep doing this, keep restricting them. And I go, you know what, Facebook? If you're not careful, you're going to find yourself restricted. Because people had enough. They need to stop relying on algorithms and start using real people with common sense. You know? Or make the board, make it like where it's user um, user controlled. People like you and me, okay? Uh, but if Facebook doesn't like my suggestion on that one, that's just tough, okay? Because that's why with my stores and everything else over it, Shopify on my stores, that's why I don't shop with them. And that's why I don't advertise in Facebook with them. I do my advertise. I'm going to be started doing my advertising in TikTok and maybe on Instagram. But I'll see how that goes. Shopify is not very happy with Facebook either, and they dropped Facebook from their thing. They dropped them. So, you'd think Zuckerberg would learn, and so far he hasn't. Okay. Now, on to other things here. As you can see in my title, Mondays in Idiot GOP. Well, you know who they are, and they know who they are. As usual, Bolbert and MTG, they're both trying to remain relevant, okay? And they know they got campaigns next year. Well, they're going to lose out. Especially Bolbert's going to lose out, and Green's going to lose out. They're trying to be relevant and at the same time defend he who shall not be named, who is not going to be re-elected president again. He hasn't put up any new ideas or anything else. He says we're going to do, all he's concerned about is revenge, and it's not going to work, okay? He's already screwed himself up so many times on his interviews. I wish they stopped interviewing him because he doesn't listen to the questions and he doesn't answer the questions. And he didn't do any critical thinking, if you will, doesn't think ahead. He doesn't put good thoughts together and everything else. Trump has never learned that. Frankly, I don't think the guy's ever learned to grow up, and he's got some mental issues that should be addressed. If some people don't like hearing my comment about that, it's plain to see. And then you hear about people complaining, oh, well, Biden is too old. Really? No, he's not. Biden is smart. He takes good care of himself. He does think ahead, and to me, age is just a number. It's what your DNA and how healthy you are and everything else. Nobody's perfect, okay? And people that say, oh, well, I'm not going to vote for him because he's too old. Oh, come on. You need to keep the blue in there. He's doing what he's supposed to do, which is his job as president. He wants to finish out the second term. And he was to continue on fixing issues that need to be fixed. And people are all for it. There's only a little teeny tiny little fraction of so-called Trumpers that support Trump, and they're so blind. They're so stupid. Okay? And what they're afraid of is they put out the truth or put out, saying, yeah, that's true, Uh, or, try to break away from um, MAGA cult. They find themselves into trouble with them. Well, the MAGA cult's already in trouble, okay? They lost so many of their Proud Boys and everything else that broke laws, federal laws. Yeah, that's right. They've been brainwashed, and people try and tell them, no, that is not true. Read the facts. Facts always wins. Lies and falsehoods don't. And you need to knock some sense into these people, okay? If they break a law, they're going to find themselves doing time or paying a fine or whatever. That's how it works. And Trump, he himself is going to get a very harsh lesson once all these trials are over with. Because once they're over with and he is convicted in all these trials, all 91 counts. Jack Smith has so much hard evidence against him, it's not even funny. That Trump will find himself in prison, and hopefully they put him in the Supermax and keep him there and put him in solitary. Trump should not have an audience. They should not treat him with kid gloves. Treat him like they should treat everybody else. He should be in jail. Okay? And they should not treat him any differently. And some of the other, well, what about the people he's going to call and protect him and everything else? What? There's every time he is indicted and then he arrested and goes through the process, there's maybe 20 people there, 10, 20 people there supporting him. That's pretty pathetic. That's pretty small. In New York, when I was down first time in New York, there were more people against Trump than there were for him. For him were like 4 or 5. New York does not like Trump. They never have. So they're glad to see him being held accountable, and he should be held accountable. And the gag order against him should be enforced. Matter of fact, they should do a total gag order and tell him to shut the hell up and let your lawyers do the talking. And the guy just doesn't get it, okay? So they need to, the media needs to stop making it normal, and they need to not give him any airtime nor attention. Not at all. Okay? Now, also over the weekend, Mitt Romney is not going to run for re-election next year. He said he wants to spend time with family. He's already done 2 terms, and he said, I'm not going to run next year. He's going to retire from the Senate, and he wants to concentrate on other things, do other things. And he said there's a lot of things that need to be straightened out, both the House and the Senate. Really does. So, and he's always been a critic of Trump. He's never been for him. And he's never really liked him. Okay? Now, Mitt Romney may be a millionaire or a billionaire, but he's doing a community service. Big difference. He's self-made. Okay? He did not do any corruption or any other stuff. He thought he need And then he built his business on that need. And then he did a lot of philanthropy work and everything else. And he donates a lot of money to charities and everything um, everything there. Hi, Dorothy. How are things in Florida? Um, so, you know, he's following Mitt Romney is following his creed in the Mormon church. They do service to others. In other words, they serve others, they help others, and that's what they do. That's how communities work. Okay. Same thing with my church. I go to the Presbyterian church, and we emphasize serving others and helping others. And that's what every church community should be doing, is helping others. Okay? But you have some of the evangelicals that sit there and pick and choose and twist things around. That's wrong. Okay? So, that's my feeling on this. Now, many of the other GOP right now, those are non-Freedom Caucus members that don't like Green and don't like Boebert and don't like Gates and everything else, all they want to do is get things done. The GOP there. They're the minority group in there that is, they're almost like the old-fashioned GOP, okay? We should not be lumping them all together. They're in factions. GOP has more factions in there than us Democrats do. I'll have that go to voicemail. Anyways, I was saying they want to work across the aisle to fix problems and fix issues, including on the budget. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not, that that the impeachment articles of impeachment has quietly dropped away. Because there's no evidence in there. None whatsoever. And many of the others, so there's no evidence of it. Okay? And even the Senate says, it's not going to happen. Okay? And of course, the Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader there, he said that's not going to happen either. He says it's ridiculous. All they want to do is not concentrate on the real issues. And they have all this power and everything else, and they want to glom on to other stupid stuff when they shouldn't be doing that. They should be working on the real issues and solving problems and getting things done and everything. And as far as the budget thing goes, they should stop kicking the can down the road and start doing a permanent budget and just stay with it. Stop all this, having to vote for it every time, okay? They need to vote for it, stick with it, and, if need be, if something needs tweaking, then tweak it. But don't sit there and having to vote for it for every 3 months. That's stupid. You want to stick with it, okay? And some of them in there in the House side are not very smart. They're really not. And it's amazing how Green and, of course, Boebert got her GED, how they passed their courses, okay? But anyway, with the others working on this and working on the budget thing across the aisle, they're leaving the Freedom Caucus out in the cold. Even McCarthy said we need to avoid the government shutdown. He says, I don't want to do it. because I've experienced it before, and I said, no, it's not going to happen. Okay. Um, so he needed to put his foot down and says no more hostage taking. That's what he needed to do. And they said, well, he's going to lose his speakership if he does. Well, he should kick those guys out. Kick them out of Congress. Okay. But again, we will see how all this turns out. But all they seem to be doing now is at war with each other. And, I mean, the good side GOP and the bad side GOP, they're at war with each other. And they're not listening to each other either. So I think now the GOP needs to rebrand themselves, or others break off from the GOP and form their own new party and push the GOP out. I think that's what needs to happen. I mean, it's happened before in the 1800s. I mean, look what happened prior to the Civil War. It was that time. It was the Whigs party. That's what the GOP's predecessor was the Whig Party, and same thing happened. And they go, well, fine, we'll form a new party, or we'll have to rebrand. Well, they rebrand it to the grand old party, the Republican Party. And President Lincoln formed the Republican Party. He says, this is what we need to focus. Sure, we may differ on some things, but still our goal is the same, is to work for the American people. But I think everybody's kind of forgotten that little history. So, again, we will see on that. And as I mentioned before, the so-called impeachment, ouch, hurt on my hand, so-called impeachment of President Trump, there's nothing there, okay? And now his son, Hunter Biden, is turning around and suing the GOP on this. He's suing them for defamation. And, you know, he says where these guys get all this is beyond him. And also stealing, they should go after people that stole his laptop too. So, we need to stamp out corruption and just get rid of it altogether. And if the GOP still want to, the bad guys, the MAGA guys, don't want to follow any of the rules, go, okay, tell you what, pull your money, go buy an island and live over there and drop your U.S. citizenship and create your own country and see what happens. Because I'm so sick and tired of these guys doing this. I really am. And, you know, growing up through the years, seeing this, and I'm going, how stupid can people be? Really, you know? If my dad was alive and he saw this, he goes, that's not the party I signed up with. What is it with them? And like one day when I got on at Boeing, and it says, well, in order to keep your job, you have to sign in with the union. He strongly suggested I should. And Dad kind of believed in unions, okay? I go, okay, sure. You know, so through all my working life, I belonged to 2 unions. I belonged to the International Machinists and Aerospace Workers. I belonged to the Food Services Union, which covered the retail sector when I worked at Safeway. So I belonged to that union. But there are good unions and there are bad unions. And some of the bad unions need to be weeded out. And if they wanted provide good services to their members. Okay. Um, but that's what I experienced. Anyway, it's 1:25. I'm going to go and get myself some lunch. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. The wind's picking up here. Um, let's see. Let me double check my calendar. 1 minute. Okay. I will see you on Wednesday at the usual time at 1 o'clock. And we'll do more discussion and keep an eye on events and everything. And take care. I love you guys. Okay? Be sure to insist, persist, push back, and share. You know, really talk to people on subjects like this. And, you know, do a little educating. You know, doesn't hurt. And say, hey, did you know this? Did you know that? You know. So, I will. You too, Dorothy. Stay safe over there. I hope the storm system calms down just a little bit. So, anyway, take care. Love to all. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Okay? Bye-bye.